Hi everyone, my name is Emmanuel and this is Max Confessions. On today's episode, I have a young man in the studio with me who is here to talk about his experiences from his years as a child, being exposed to sexual molestation, and then how it transgressed into pornography, drug addiction, and a whole lot more. But as always, it's not my story to tell, but his. So let's get right into it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Yeah?
Okay.
What exactly is it that happened to you that you want to talk to me about?
Okay. Basically, I'm starting from the early years of my life, the early ages. So it started with pornography, which I was exposed to by virtue of parents.
Okay.
So there was this kind of situation where I was in the house and then I came across this content I shouldn't have, and seeing that content at that age changed a whole lot. Prior to that experience, I had this encounter with a neighbor that was way older. So she used to take me to the back of the house and she used to engage in some kind of activities with me when I was really young. Part of that is my some kind of parenting experiences like with violence and abuse, because at that age there was absence of parents and love and the support. Father abusive, like verbally, and mother the same. That kind of emotional support wasn't there. So at that age, I didn't know what I had come across. I didn't know what I got in my hand into. And from that experience, everything changed. As young as 7, 8, being exposed to intercourse, pornography, I felt like it was a normal thing, or it was something that I was supposed to watch. And then it's a habit that kept up. But unfortunately, that was when the damage began. You get to an age where you're supposed to now start, like maybe 14, 13, you're supposed to now start experiencing these things. Like you're supposed to have a crush, you're supposed to have a girlfriend, but everything is just not possible anymore because the root is not there. Like there's a process. You're supposed to have like a first time doing something, but it's not there anymore. So as at 11, 12, already exposed, you already know a lot you've seen. So there's something missing. The process is not how it's supposed to be. So at the age I got to when I was supposed to start having relationships, I didn't really care about that anymore. I was not interested. I just wanted to, everything was just sexual. Everything was just explicit with me. I felt like I was exposed at a very young age. So that was my idea of love, connection. I could literally see a girl at that point and then I'm like just looking at the girl and then all I'm just thinking about is something vulgar, and that was at a very young age. I remember when I was about 15, 14, when children are supposed to play around, all I was interested in was watching content. But I remember the kind of like thoughts I used to have. I could not communicate. My communication skills were dead.
Okay, so you've touched on so many subjects.
Yes.
All right, and I would like for us to take it one after the other, like one at a time. Let's first of all understand the kind of family that you grew up in.
Okay.
Because, like you said, it was a contributing factor to how everything turned out. At what age were you first exposed to pornography?
I was 9 then.
And you also mentioned that before you ever saw an explicit content, like a pornographic content, you had already had an experience with a neighbor, like a much older neighbor.
Yes.
How old were you at that point?
I would say I was no more than 6, because it's a little blurry now because it's a long time ago. So
yeah,
I'll say 6, like 6 years, 7, but I barely had sense.
Okay. How many siblings do you have?
2.
So there were only 3 of you?
Yes.
What position in the family are you?
Second.
The second?
Yes.
I had a guest here recently and we spoke extensively about the family being the smallest unit of society.
Yes.
Because every individual, every citizen in every state actually came from the family unit.
Yeah. And
whatever happens in that small unit goes to a very large extent to tell on what that person will eventually become, unless there is a relearning and unlearning process that happens with them. So let's touch a bit on your family.
Okay.
You mentioned that your dad was both physically and verbally abusive.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. What kind of home did you grow on, or what did you see firsthand as a child growing up with an abusive father?
Okay, so what I remember then was that from as young as 6 years, I was already in fear. I was like, there's so much violence, like you're not allowed to make mistakes. You're not allowed to go wrong. If it was just physical, but then you're hearing these things constantly.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like name calling, bad words, and like demeaning words from that age. So that just gave a sense of fear and invalidation.
Yeah.
The name calling, the bad words, the abuse, the verb, especially verbal, because physical you heal, but the verbal stays with you for
Forever,
time.
yes.
It does, especially from that young age, because it's what you learn as a child. Most of it is from childhood. Even till now, like the relationship is still like a very strict and formal relationship. It's not a I can call and
A father-son
no,
kind of relationship.
it's not really that. It's more like a worker and employer relationship. Okay, he provides, he does this, and then I just pick calls, and then that's it. No communication, no emotional, no, nothing like that. That really shaped a lot of things. And my mother wasn't doing very good at that point too.
Yeah, so I was actually going to touch on that as well.
Okay.
Was there a solid relationship between you and your mother, and a torn one between you and your father?
Between me and my father, it was more of it was, I don't even think it was a relationship. It was just, okay, we're family, that's it. But the reason why it now became a lot worse is because my mother was not now fully there. She was a lot of times absent. She felt she tried what she could. But at the same time, like at that young age, if the father is going to be that much abusive, or is going to portray those kind of characters, at least if the mother is able to
Calm things down,
calm things
stabilize
down,
the ship.
it can reverse the effects. But in that situation, it was more of a, okay, father is this and mother is in there. Even when she's there, she's not really supporting. She's just, okay, how are you? That's it. Have you eaten today? That's it. No support, no encouragement, no. I was very creative. I was very creative from young. Always loved to win. Always loved to do stuff. Always loved to be good at things. But just the constant you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to do this, you're just that whole environment, it was kind of like shaping me and already bringing up this ill in me from that young age.
Basically, we've established that there was no love in the family.
Yeah.
Was this cut across to your other siblings, or was it just something targeted at you as just you?
Okay, I think it was all of us. I feel like it got to me a lot more because I'm the more emotional one. They could handle certain things, they could go past certain things, but it was more, it was more overwhelming to me because of my nature and the rest. I would say I felt it the most.
Okay.
Because of my emotional character and emotional nature. So it got to me the most, especially from that young age.
How much can you remember about your first experience with the neighbor who molested you?
You know, when big things happen in life, those are the things you hold as highlights. So I think I remember 70% of it. It's kind of blurry because it was a very long time ago, but it's one of the major events of my life. So I actually can remember.
So this happened.
Yes.
And you got sexually involved with this lady.
Yes.
Then you saw the adult content in your house.
Yes.
Do you by chance know who that content belongs to?
It was a house system, and we had aunties, we had people that were working, so it was like open to, that's how I could access the system.
Okay.
It was open to the house. So I can't really say who had it, but I just felt like knowing that children are walking around and have access to it, it was kind of inappropriate for it to just be there accessible. Because that was the first time I ever came across that. And that was beginning of something very bad, not very good at all.
So here you are.
Yeah.
You've been molested by someone much older than you.
Yeah.
Also got exposed to explicit content.
Yeah.
Run me through from the moment you got exposed to this. How did the trajectory of your life go? Like, in what direction did it go? And how deeply did it affect you with your relationship with people?
When I got exposed to that content, I remember the first experience I had with a girl. And then she just turned me off because I was trying to portray what I had seen on the content in our relationship. Obviously, explicit content is not the way it's supposed to be. That's not how a relationship should be. They're acting for viewers.
Yes.
So I pictured that as what it should be like. So I couldn't build a lasting connection because everything to me was just explicit. I could barely communicate with her. I could barely talk. I could barely check up. Those kind of things now became part of me because from a young age, I wasn't really looking for connection anymore. All I was looking for was just the explicit part that I've seen in the content.
I think I'm beginning to see where this is headed.
Okay.
So you were exposed to this content,
Yes.
and at that age, you just assumed or you felt that this is how it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be.
And then your first relationships, like proper relationships with people your age, you
Yes.
know, or like your first girlfriend experience,
Yes.
you were trying to replicate exactly what you had seen in the movies.
Exactly.
And anybody who knows anything
Yeah.
will know that the moment you're trying to replicate a certain thing or talk to a lady in a certain way, you're indirectly approaching or addressing her as a prostitute,
Exactly.
which will definitely turn that person off.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly.
But you didn't know any better.
I didn't know any better.
Wasn't there anybody you could have spoken to at the time?
Actually, I did speak to some people, and what I actually realized is that it was way beyond just what I knew. It was what I felt. For you to make a connection with someone, you have to feel the connection. But I felt like my emotional level, my sentimental level, my ability to connect to people was going down. Or I almost didn't have it. All I was thinking about was content. And again, this is where my upbringing came in. That emotional part of me was really gone. Because there was a time when you're not experiencing some kind of emotional support and the rest, you tend to like just numb. So that now came in. So the content mostly affected the sexual aspect of me with my partner.
Okay.
But I just couldn't feel a lot of the things that I was supposed to feel. So up to now, most relationships don't last. They didn't last then, and they still don't last because life is a process. There are stages.
Yeah.
But the moment you jump or you skip, especially from that age where you're still growing, it's going to affect your adult life. It's going to affect everything. So at an age where you're supposed to be starting, you're stopping. You feel like you're retiring because you've already started way younger. There was a time that I literally I just used to see women and we talk. I feel so connected to them. I feel so interested. And then the next day, I don't even contact them again. And people tended to see it, especially women, as me being selfish or only self-centered. But I just couldn't feel it. I tried to, but it's something that was beyond my
The
control.
deed had already been done at the
The
time.
deed had already been done. There was a particular girl I was with that, like, I really like this girl, and then we had an argument, an issue one day, and then she said, "You weren't raised with love." And then when she just said that, I think it was my mom's birthday that same day, and I was on my way to meet her. But when she said you weren't raised with love, that felt like literally like a bullet coming.
Yeah.
Somebody that I was so close to saying that to me, you weren't raised with love. And it made me think because I felt like there's a chance that she might be right. Because I understood my faults. Because it was hard to even connect with her. But she could tolerate because she said she liked me a lot. She said I lack emotions. She said that so many times. There were times I actually wanted to build connection. But I just felt like I was not really emotional anymore. And that is a big problem because every human being needs emotions, especially when you're like with women. But the reason why it ranked that much is because I knew that she had a point, although it came out wrong. So I went around asking. I asked some of my siblings. I asked people like, "Do I actually act in this way?" And they said, "Yes, you do." And I was surprised because sometimes you might be guilty of something and not know it. The two most important parts of a child, purity and love, that defines adulthood as well. Because you're in a situation where the purity has been gone a long time. Has been taken. Even you didn't have a choice. You didn't say, okay, I want it. But no, it's gone. And then the emotional strength that could have absorbed the effects of
that snatch that happened early on was also missing.
Was also not there. So it was a thing of you having to bottle all these things from a very young age.
So interestingly, sexual molestation at a young age, especially for men, is not one of those most talked about subjects.
Yeah.
Because some people think it's cool to be exposed to sex at a very young age. And when I mean some people, I'm not even talking about women, I'm still talking about men.
Yeah.
You would see some very badly raised men come up to make statements like, are you going to say you did not enjoy it? Right? As if it's something that is supposed to, be pleasurable,
Yeah.
especially at that young age. But they don't see the effect, the negative effect that it has on the person,
Yeah.
who has gone through these episodes. Talk me through how this experience transgressed to the other issues that you've also had to deal with over the period of your young age.
So that invalidation also caused the level of, it also caused this feeling of always wanting to feel appreciated or so outside, like to feel okay, connected to people. So there was this kind of situation where I was with a group of guys, and then we're just like we're just talking, chilling, and then he brought some kind of substance, and then they were on the substance, and I was watching them. I knew it was not meant to be done. So he was trying to like tease me and use this kind of words to lure me into it. But unfortunately, I didn't really have emotional strength. I didn't really have confidence or validation. So I just felt like always wanted to be accepted. Even when I knew that would damage and that was not the way to go, I just felt this need to be accepted. And then I went along with it. It had a very negative effect on me because that was my first time. I was inexperienced, and just to please and to feel accepted or to feel like to belong.
To belong, yeah, to be part of the team.
To be part of the team, which I didn't really feel in the past. So I ate more than I could chew because that was way above me. And that was the beginning of another phase of doom. At that point, it caused this kind of extreme reaction, hallucination, so many issues. And the worst part is I still could not talk to anybody because I can't talk to parents because of the whole family background. Siblings are coming from the same thing, so they don't understand as well. So I had to carry everything alone. So I was so lost, so alone. I got to the point where I didn't really care. Because there was a time when my mom was trying to come back into the picture, but she had the same name calling and verbal and stuff.
So she was also verbally abusive.
Very.
So here you're dealing with a father who is physically abusive, and you're dealing with a mother who is verbally abusive.
Basically.
What substance are we talking about?
Okay, it was two at first. It was Indian hemp, then crystal meth.
Indian hemp and crystal meth.
Yes, and I was not ready for any of those. So that was the beginning. Although the reactions were very bad, but there was also this need for acceptance, like I said. So
you kept at it?
I kept at it that period. It was still kind of like an escape. So that period was a very challenging one.
Are you still taking drugs?
No, I'm not.
So it was time bound. It was just for a particular season.
For a particular season. I realized that okay, I can handle a lot of things that I need this for, and I realized it was doing more harm than good. As much as the history and childhood and the rest did damage to my emotions, it strengthened my willpower. So I can move alone, and when I get in full force, there's nothing that's beyond me. It was a challenge at first, but I knew this was not what I wanted to be doing. I wanted to set an example to others. So I wanted to be someone that to be a leader, someone that is going to say, okay, don't do this, don't do that. So just that willpower alone was enough for me to break free. So stay clear of those things.
Are you currently seeing anybody?
Right now, no.
What is the state of your mind or the state of your emotional connection with people, especially ladies at this point?
I still feel this need to find the right one and to connect. There's sometimes that I feel lonely and empty, or there's this void. But then when I make an attempt, I can't build a connection because I lose interest in people very quickly. I will come off as self-centered or egotistical. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Because I've not really experienced that kind of emotional support. Because you can only give out what you have.
What you have, yes.
So I feel like even if I'm with someone, it's not going to really work.
Up until now,
it's very difficult for me to feel them. I just feel just this numbness, there aren't really emotions. It's just strictly. That's what I say sometimes. Just strictly business. I feel like I see life in just this formal way.
Is this experience peculiar to women, or does it also cut across to men as well?
Men are a lot, especially friends and the rest. They're not going to really need emotional support.
Let's put this on a litmus test.
Okay.
Are you that person that any of your friends can actually just call up and say, oh, I need XYZ, I need ABC, and then you come through for them right there and then?
Not completely.
do you have anybody that can beat his chest and say, if I'm in a fix or if I need something done, this is the person that I can call and he will get it done for me?
No.
You might think that men don't need emotional connections, but there is where you're wrong. The difference between both genders is women exemplify it, like they live it every day. They need you to tell them how you feel towards them, like assurances, word of affirmation. Men don't necessarily need that, but what men want more than word of affirmation is acts of service. If I don't have money today, who can I call for an urgent 2K? Who can I call for a prompt advice? Who can I call like a ride or die?
Yeah.
And if you find that you're not that friend, then it's something that needs to be worked on.
Yeah.
So first thing that I want to say to you, it is not your fault. Everything that happened to you is not your fault. You didn't bring it upon yourself. You didn't actively cause it to happen. You didn't do anything to warrant the treatment that you received or the experiences that you've been through. It's not your fault that you were molested. It's not your fault that your purity was taken away from you. It's not your fault that you also weren't, should I say, loved the way you should have been, especially as a child. Your parents should have known better. The lady who molested you should have known better because she's an adult and you were only a child at the time. So I don't hold you by that. And the mistake that you also made, running with the crowd, is as a result of peer pressure, which a lot of people deal with, have dealt with, and are still dealing with up until now. So it's not something peculiar to you. I needed to say that first of all, to, for you not to judge yourself, for you not to gaslight yourself. Settling that is the first step. The next action to be taken is us now having a conversation of how do we chart a new course to get you to where you're supposed to be. Because you made a statement and you said very soon you should be having conversations about settling down, raising a family. You definitely wouldn't want to, because there's this saying, broken people break others. So something I wouldn't want to see happen to you is that which you did not receive from home, you now grow to be a replica of who your father was to you, and then you become that to your kids. This cycle has to end with you. And whatever we have to do to make this cycle end and turn you around, like turn you into who and what you're supposed to be, we here are willing to do that. And if you get married, you're going to have male kids as much as you also have female kids. If you feel the issue is just with women, then you're going to ignore like your male kids when they come of age, or like when you even birth them. That connection won't be there because you just figure, oh, they are like your friends, or they are your partners, or they are, like you said, business. You treat them a certain way because you think they are men. But do men need connections? Yes. Do they need emotional connections? Yes. What I think is we need to fix this that is broken. The first step has been taken by coming on the show and us having this conversation, but this is not where it ends, to the best of my knowledge. So what I would suggest is we're going to work with you, sign you up for clinical therapy. And to be very honest, it comes at a very large cost, but I'm hoping that we'll get support and help from as many people as possible so that we can get you on the right therapy sessions, on the right counseling sessions of breaking, or rather fixing that which was broken and opening up that which is closed. It's just like a rusted tap. There is water in the pipe, but because the head of the tap is rusted, no matter how much you try to turn it, it can't open. Does it mean that the tap is not going to provide water? No. I mean, there is water in the source, right? But it's just a case of fixing the head, which is rusted, so that the water can flow. The things that you're lacking or the things that you're missing are there. They are there somewhere. But we just need to fix the rust so that we can be able to open the tap and then the water will gush out. So coming to the show is one step in the right direction, but it's not all there is to it. Clinical therapy takes care of that, and you turn a brand new leaf. That I can assure you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you
So, guys, thank you so much for sticking with us to the end of the show. As always, I would ask you to please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share, and also make your comments, because we actually love to hear from you. And a lot of people who engage in the community also get to learn a whole lot more about what is going on and about other people's experiences from the comment section. So please leave us a comment, like the video, it helps with engagement, and also subscribe to the channel. It is one way that you support the work that we do. All right. So, and if you want to be a guest on the show, please send us a DM on Instagram at 1206.tv, 1206.tv. Let's just have a conversation, and then we can you can come on the studio and we'll have a conversation. Yeah. This was his confession. What is yours? See you on the next episode.